Hello everyone and welcome to Season 7, Episode 11 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in CHIKARA history with match number 40 on our list, which is a first round match in the Tag World Grand Prix tournament, and it is between the Deathmatch Kings of the Necro Butcher and Madman Pondo against the ROH students of Matt Turner and Anthony Franco from the CHIKARA Tag World Grand Prix 2005 Night 2 event held on February the 19th of 2005. This match to me is, maybe my most guilt-riddled inclusion on this list. The Necro Butcher is a piece of garbage, as we now know. But back in 2005, if you were an independent wrestling fan, if you were a independent wrestling ultra-violent deathmatch fan, you basically revered this man as though he was a god. We would find out, over the years, all of the problematic beliefs and behaviors of this person. And like whenever I do a video that involves someone named in speaking out or, with other unsavory behaviors, I give a disclaimer that I completely understand if you choose not to watch this video. This is in no way an endorsement for that individual. This match is super, super uncomfortable to watch, but my struggle with including this match, because, was it unprofessional? Maybe. Did Necro and Pondo take extreme liberties with their opponents, which is something that should absolutely be frowned upon in professional wrestling? Maybe. Was it an absolutely captivating match? Absolutely. And is this match ultimately maybe the most historical significant match on this countdown? I could argue that it is. I flip-flopped with this match so many times. I watched it multiple times. I had it all over the countdown. At one point, I had it in the top 20. At one point, I thought maybe I shouldn't include it, but ultimately, it's here at number 40. And if you have never seen it, if you are okay watching it, with Necro being in it, if you're okay watching, an uncomfortable absolute beating of two young students getting pummeled into pulps by veterans, if you can handle that, then you need to see this match. So basically, because of this match, we would ultimately get the Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe at IWA Mid-South Something to Prove event in June of 2005 at the ECW Arena, which for my money is probably the best independent wrestling match of all time. That match happened because of this match. You could argue, and I would, that the whole ROH versus CZW feud, the best feud in independent wrestling history, happened because of this match. So the ROH students, you probably don't know these guys' names. Matt Turner still wrestles, I think, in the Northeast Independents a little bit. Anthony Franco, I haven't heard of probably since 2006 at the very latest. But the ROH students were interesting. The first class were trained, primarily by CM Punk, a little bit of Samoa Joe thrown in there too. And these guys basically were thrown in a car and were, doing that independent wrestling grind lifestyle, just like Punk did, just like everybody in that era did. These guys would work CHIKARA, they would work ROH pre-shows, they would go down to Ian Rotten and work IWA Mid-South, and they would show up everywhere in between, just trying to get those miles in and trying to gain that experience and trying to get better and better and better. If you asked most people at the time, Davey Andrews, who is no longer in wrestling, you might not know that name either, was the standout of that early class. But in hindsight, it really was Turner and Franco that I have the most fond memories from out of that group. But they, had a lot of memorable CHIKARA moments. This, you know, maybe being one of the most memorable. So the Tag World Grand Prix, one of my absolute favorite times to be a pro wrestling fan. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but 2005, outside of like maybe 1992, is my favorite year of pro wrestling ever. And the Tag World Grand Prix was really early in that year and kind of kick-started it. I used to have the event t-shirt. It was a red t-shirt with yellow writing and all the logos of the participating promotions on the back. I wish I still had it. I would have worn it for this video if it still would have fit, you know, being something that I could squeeze myself into 17 years ago. But it was so exciting. It was a tournament that was supposed to be smaller and CHIKARA based. It just got blown wide open into, you know, being 32 teams with all different promotions internationally and throughout the United States and Canada sending talent. And it was just a really exciting time as a pro wrestling fan. So Turner and Franco were representing ROH in there, you know, just being the students. And they, of course, you know, got paired with the deathmatch guys, and it was this great natural story. They cut this really bad, inexperienced promo backstage before the match, talking about how they frown upon garbage wrestling and how they're going to use everything that CM Punk and Samoa Joe taught them to, you know, easily defeat these garbage wrestlers. And whether, you know, Necro and Pondo heard that, I don't know the story here. I don't know if anybody fully knows it. You know, did Necro and Pondo go into business for themselves? Was, you know, that Necro and Joe kind of feud and match, you know, already in the works and this was supposed to kickstart it? I have no idea. But for whatever reason, the Necro Butcher and Madman Pondo went out and absolutely pummeled, I can't stress enough, pummeled these two kids. They jumped them before the bell. Necro immediately stiffs the absolute holy hell out of Anthony Franco with chops and forearms and headbutts. They're throwing these kids through chairs. Matt Turner, you know, tries to valiantly fight the Necro Butcher and gets headbutted in the face. And Necro in this match, like, is just this incredible spectacle, you know, movie monster performer where, you know, Franco tries to fire back and Necro just takes his own t-shirt off and says, bring it, you're going to pay for what you're about to do. You're going to pay for your sins. And this match is just, you cannot look away from it. Maybe you can out of disgust of the brutality, but, you know, it's like when you watch, you know, a really uncomfortable horror movie and you think, like, what am I watching? But for whatever reason, you just can't stop. That is this match. It is a human horror film. Matt Turner is really great in this match, like trying to win and like using suplexes and things like that. And there's this great, you know, juxtaposition of Matt Turner trying to pin Pondo in the ring while the Necro Butcher literally just claws at the face and eyes of Anthony Franco on the floor. Pondo and Necro have like a field day in this match, trying out all of this crazy offense that, you know, for a lot of them, I've never seen them do before or again since. They do like a Quebecers cannonball, but like with a draping through the ropes leg drop. Necro Butcher, or might have been Pondo, I think it was Pondo, actually does like Magnum Tokios, like, you know, Niagara driver, Viagra driver, Magnum driver, whatever you want to call it, like the pump handle slam into the, you know, the Fire Thunder driver. That's just disgusting. And, you know, these guys, they keep kicking out and they keep trying to fight back. Matt Turner at one point kicks out of a bunch of stuff and Necro just starts punching him in the face, just splatters his nose all over his face. The big, you know, point of this match is Necro Butcher hits a suplex on Anthony Franco from the ring apron. And if you're unfamiliar with the CHIKARA ring in this era, it was like a pony ring. So like a really, you know, maybe like 7 or 8 inches off the ground ring apron. So it's basically just this brutal suplex on the floor, and the thud sound from it is just absolutely disgusting. You know, this match, it's all about these two kids getting their asses beat, but it leads to this great near fall and this great moment, and I'd completely forgotten about it. So when I watched this match again for this project, I bit on this near fall. I know that these kids get destroyed and lose this match, but the fact that they had me on this near fall where Franco gets like a Hurricane Rana off the top and dives out to the floor, and Matt Turner gets like an ace crusher on Pondo, and they like almost get the 3. It's so good. This suplex on the floor, Dave Prazak is on commentary for this match, and, you know, he has this, like, signature, like, holy fuck call, but he, like, stops it short because it's CHIKARA, and it just adds to all of the craziness. Half the crowd is like grimacing and like screaming at Necro and Pondo to stop. The other half of the crowd is completely bloodthirsty, telling them to kill these kids. There's a moment at the end of the match where Necro just destroys Turner with elbows, and Pondo literally yells, "Kill him," from the floor. And it's like the most sadistic, like realistic, scary like line I've ever heard, because it sounds like this man legitimately wants his partner to murder this young kid, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he wanted to. And Necro Butcher like lariats Matt Turner like in the face, just completely destroys him for the 3. And the crowd, you know, they give these kids who are like battered, bloody, ripped open chests, exploded noses all over their face, you know, that I wouldn't have been surprised if they both quit wrestling right there and then and there. But the crowd, you know, gives them like such a well-deserved standing ovation. And Anthony Franco, I remember going to shows live at this time. His girlfriend, I don't know if it's his wife or whomever. Like I said, I have no leads on Anthony Franco, but he had this girlfriend at the time who was just, you know, absolutely like gorgeous. And she was like bawling her eyes out at ringside. And just like that in and of itself, like, you know, paints this picture of just how real and how unsettling this match was. So if you know, if it doesn't sound like your cup of tea, avoid it like the plague. If you want something that is unlike anything you are going to see in independent wrestling nowadays, then this is the match for you. I will never forget this match as long as I live. Like I said, it led to some of my favorite independent wrestling matches and memories ever. And I'll never forget it. You can watch this match, of course, on independentwrestling.tv. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.